Hi everyone, this is Adelita Serna and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking to Robert Yancy from Homes by Unique. Rob and I have known each other for a really long time, since 2007.
2007.
We have both worked in real estate. When did you start your real estate career?
So I actually started my real estate career in 2007, about 8 months before the crash happened.
Yes, and so did I. I started my real estate career. I actually got licensed in 2006 and started selling in 2007. One of the main reasons I have you here today is because you are known for being the flipper of Atlanta. You have been flipping homes in Atlanta since I've known you.
It's become my identity, Mr. Flip, Mr. Invest.
You've done most of your flips in Atlanta,
Yeah,
correct?
100%.
100%. We did a flip together back in 2010. That was fun.
That was amazing.
Yes, a lot of lessons learned, but here we are. We came up with some questions that I think would be helpful to share. What's the most amount of money you've ever made on a deal?
They always like to start off with that one. After all the years that I've been in it, consistently doing it, I feel terrible that I don't have those $1 million flip stories that everybody likes to talk about. But no, honestly, my largest flip was in during COVID. It was $125,000 profit.
Awesome.
And purchased the house for $275,000, I believe. It was an amazing off-market deal. I was even blown away that these people wanted to sell it off-market and not put it on the market. So when the wholesaler brought it to me, and I'll get into with wholesalers and how we source our deals, but I just got a call one day and she says, "Hey Rob," she's like, "Do you buy in Roswell?" I was like, "Yeah, whenever you can." And she's like, "I got a lady that wants to sell," and she was like, "But she wants you to see it. There's a realtor involved, and they're gonna list it." And I'm like, "Okay." So we run over to go look at it, and I basically just says, "Hey, what is this? What do I have to give her for her to not list it?" And she was like, "If you offer her $275 and you take it as is, she said she'll do the deal with you." I said, "Done." So it was the house wasn't in bad condition, great bones, amazing neighborhood. There was nothing else for sale. Like I was like, okay, this is what they try to teach you, buy the ugly house in the best neighborhood or something like that. So, and I think the renovation, I think we had it budgeted for, it was about $50,000, 50 to 55, and we ended up spending 70 once we got into it. And then the original resale price of the ARV that we had was $460. We ended up selling it for $500,000.
Nice.
So we ended up making up the difference. So the deal was so big. My closing attorney, because I work very close, like when you were my agent, I work with the same people. My attorney called me after the wire. She had to send the wire from the closing, and she said, "Oh, Rob," she's like, "What are you doing?"
Next question.
Yes.
What's one deal you walked away from and why?
I actually just walked away from one a few days ago.
Okay.
I'm actually flipping in the same community. You know that I've recently switched my model from doing single family homes to condos and townhouses. And there's a community that's just in really, really bad condition, but the prices are very good. So I did one, and it didn't go so well. We still profited, but it wasn't great. You run into issues with the HOA and their financials and financing. So it took us very long to sell it. I was like, okay, I got it figured out. So we did another unit that's like in the same community. It's the same nightmare. And we didn't get the clear to close yet, but we finalized everything. So we're supposed to be closing it on Friday. It's been a nightmare, 6 months, and you're not gonna make any money. So I'm like, you know what? This is a clear sign, because I contracted another one in the neighborhood. But this one was a more desirable floor plan with a basement. Mm-hmm. And we ran into a couple of issues, and I'm still going through everything with this one. And as I was walking out of my closing last week, I'm just thinking, and I'm looking at all the stress that I had to go through to get out of a deal. And this one was profitable. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm at the point in life where I don't want to keep taking these really, really tight risks. So I go home, talk to my project manager, and then like a day later, I terminated the contract. But the problem with this community is that you have to give up so much in concessions to sell it, and your pool of buyers has gotten smaller because you have to have somebody that's either putting down a high down payment conventional, or you have to have somebody that's approved for a non-warrantable loan.
Okay.
So it's very complicated.
Because it's a condominium.
Yeah, and because their financials aren't right, the vacancies are high, the delinquencies, so all this stuff goes into it. It's like when you're buying a condo, this is stuff that they don't tell you about until you buy it, and then you go to sell it, and then every time you keep having the contracts terminate because of the financing. They're like, the bank, oh, I can't get the loan finance for it.
So why switch your strategy from single family to
Oh, so I switched my strategy from single family to condos and townhouses during COVID. The competition on single family homes went through the roof because everybody and their mom was trying to get into real estate. So all the properties that we were doing before, they were skyrocketing. You just couldn't get a good deal. One day I'm driving down by the Battery and I get a email from one of my wholesalers, and there's a townhouse in Doraville. They only want like $100,000 for it, and there was like a water dam just flooded. And I'm a pretty extreme renovator, so the worse the property is, the better it is for me, because I'm gonna get a better deal. And then a lot of construction problems that people are scared of, I'm not scared of, like, because we know how to resolve them. So I buy it, we resolve the problems, get everything fixed. There was little to no HOA in this community, and the renovation was very easy. So this is my very first time doing one where we were able to just spend all the money on the inside of the property. So the kitchen was beautiful, the bathrooms were beautiful, and I put it on the market. The thing sold in like 4 days over asking. Light bulb went off because I knew all the investors that I had worked with. Nobody would touch condos and townhouses because they were like, oh yeah. So I was like, let's give this a try. For 3 years straight, I had a run where it was nothing but condos and townhouses, no competition, and they were selling like hotcakes. And they're easier to renovate.
What's the biggest mistake you made on a flip, and what did it teach you?
Well, actually, the first property that I actually lost on, it was in Decatur. Oh yeah, so the biggest mistake with that property was that I paid attention to the numbers and the ARV of the property, and I didn't pay attention to the sellability of the property. So what that means is that you can be in an area where the numbers are perfect, but the property can be situated on a bad street, or it can be on the main road. This was my very first attempt at doing a house on the main road. I didn't know that double line main roads are a very, very bad thing for buyers. I had no idea. I'm just like, oh no, it's great because we had the front entrance, but then on the side street, there was an back entrance where everybody could park and everything, so you didn't really have to use the front. I'm like, oh man, we're good to go. And it was on the corner. Every single showing that we had, loved the property, you guys did a great job. They're worried about their kids on the main road. They're worried about this, oh, the main road is busy, blah, blah, blah. So I mean, we sat on the market for about a year, and I had a hard money loan on it too. So that was the only one in the property. Sad to say, we had to went into foreclosure. I took it so personal because I had went 10 years. I had never lost money in a house before. I broke even once or twice, but I had never actually lost money on a project before. And that one I had to give back to the hard money lender. And it was actually the most extensive renovation that we did. We completely gutted it. We closed in and added the additional 300 square feet where the garage was for the master bedroom. But on the main road, I found out later on that these properties generally sold for about $20,000 to $30,000 less, and they weren't as desirable, which helped me because then maybe 7 or 8 houses down after I got my license back, I ended up representing one of our international investors, and I sold his property on the main road. So when I went in, I'm the expert. I'm like, yeah, well, this is your expectations because of this and this and this and this and this, and we actually ended up selling the property.
Secret weapon for adding value to a property without overspending.
Style and design. Style and design, and it's recently just stepped up. So thanks to my stager Maria and a couple other people that I work with, Amazon and Wayfair and all these other places that sell you can call it cheap, but it's really not. So it's where you have, it's much different than Home Depot. So Home Depot has a certain amount of things, and you know the design isn't all that great. It's kind of real generic. But if you go on Wayfair and if you go on Amazon, you can literally just sit there and they have all the cool LED lighting, this style, that style, this style. And when you compare it, it's actually cheaper than the stuff that you buy from Home Depot that doesn't have any style. I'm actually getting more, not me personally into design, but I have no problem actually calling local designers and says, hey, like when I did my place on Pryor Street, I said, hey, I have a vision for this place, but I can't really, you know, interpret it, but I would like to take this 20-year-old condo and make it look like this brand new place that we're sitting in. And that's what they were able to do. And when you look at the pricing, it's exactly the same.
You say that most of the renovation, you put the most money into the kitchens and the bathrooms?
Yeah, generally kitchen and that's just across the board, kitchen and bathrooms.
How do you spot a good flip opportunity before everyone else?
I wouldn't say that I spot it before everybody. It's just I move faster than most people.
Okay. That's key.
Yeah, I
this business.
Move faster and you don't overthink it. A lot, even the people that we consult for, they overthink it, and you'll lose out on the deal. I like to use the three green lights. So you look at the comparables. Are the comps there, and are they strong? Right. So if you're looking in this community and it's like on the MLS for what we see, and we're looking at is blue, 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 beautiful. If it's blue and blue but with a lot of green, that means there's a lot of actors. I don't do it. So that's a red. So strong comps and how fast they sell. So I'm pulling all that up. If all the comps are selling in under, and today, you want to say 45 days and under, I'm doing, but before it was like if it was 30 days and under, green, green. Then you look at what the actual comps look like. So if the comps are amazing and I know that I can do exactly what they did for the same price, I'm gonna do it. But if it's like, this is the price here, but then these people are putting in glass staircases and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I'm not gonna do it. Because then you're gonna put an inferior product on the market, and then you're just like, it's gonna sit, you might not get the asking price. One of the biggest things to me is staying out of areas, not going into places that have high actives. Then you look at the return. So I instantly know based off of the square footage of what I buy how much it's gonna cost. And you'll be within range of 5 to 10%. There may be a couple things that you miss. Okay, no big deal. So if all of that stuff matches up, you make your offer, you make it quick, and you make it strong.
One of the key things is that to have the information at your fingertips, like the actives, being able to get into the MLS and look at the comparables and move fast.
Because it's just like the market tells you what's going on. The market literally will tell you, hey, people want to buy over here and they're buying fast. And then also you look at how it's buying. You look and see if there's a lot of cash, if it's a lot of FHA, because if it's a neighborhood that's majority FHA, you know that you're going to be in that project for at least 5 months, because you have the property has to be seasoned for 90 days.
Right.
Then you got to wait to get the buyer, and then their closing time frames are much higher than conventional.
Just to clear something up with FHA, we're not licensed lenders.
No,
however, we do know there are laws. FHA has a flip rule where you have to hold the property for a certain amount of time. How many houses have you flipped in your career?
Everybody asks that, and I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea from 06 till now, in the high hundreds. Because if you just look at it between the properties that we've wholesold and properties that we flipped, so it's up there. I took 1 year off where I was just kind of burnt out, and I just did consulting and wholesaling, and I was just bored out of my mind. But it's up there. It's in the hundreds.
How many houses are you working on right now?
Currently, right now, we just sold one last week. There are 3 active on the market. 2 of those are under contract. 1 we're still waiting for a buyer. The one in Atlanta should be hitting the market within the next 2 weeks, and I'm closing on 1 today. So on average, you generally have about, I would say between 2 to 4. All the resources that we're using now is really just recycled funds from my very first flip. So over the years, we've just been building and building and building. And I went the financing route for a couple of years. And I just didn't like it because of how much you actually give up on the properties. And they call it leverage, but then that leverage can go bad really, really fast. Every year, you have to just reanalyze how things went this year and then what I want to do to change it. And then when I switched to just going to the affordable housing price point, I realized that I could afford to do, you know, between 3 to 5 up to, we did last year, the year before last, I had 7, we were doing 7 to 8 at one time, and it was just all self-funded, so that's stressful.
Yes. You're paying utilities for 7 houses.
You're paying utilities, you got your, you'd be surprised how fast you can spend, you know, rack up your Amex card on $30,000 of material. So I was actually running so much volume that Amex froze all my cards, and they said, hey, we need to do they called it a account review on all my accounts, because they made it look like I was living on the credit. And I'm like, no, dude, like, this is great. Contractors here. I just paid for 3 kitchens. You know, that's $8,000 a piece. Bam, 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 bam. So, you know, it gets really stressful. Then they freeze it, and you're like, dude, I gotta work. And I'm like, oh, we need to make sure that we're lending responsibly. I'm like, and mind you, but we're not late on anything. It's just you're going from, you know, 5% up to 80%. You're like, I'm gonna pay it off at the end of the week, but it's just it gets really stressful, you know. Right. So and then at the end when you scale back, you said I could have done 2 properties less and actually made the same amount of money if I had just focused on that. So that's kind of like what we're transitioning to.
Well, thank you very much.
This was fun. I'm excited.
Yes. So do you have Instagram?
On Facebook, you can find me Robert Duvale Yancy. You'll see the pictures there. And then on Instagram, it's Mr. Invest ATL. So that's Mr._Invest ATL. Adelita's the best. She's the agent. I learned so much from working with her. So it's just great to see all of this come full circle. So I was happy.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you guys. We'll see you.